Welcome back to the Honey Jam podcast. It is currently almost 10 p.m. and I don't know if you can tell, but Jess and I are pooped.
Why are you pooped, Janice? What did you do today?
Oh, first of all, my hair looks
Dude,
like a...
I thought you were gonna veg out.
What, today?
I thought you were gonna veg out like starting last night until
Oh
today.
my gosh, I know. It was just a long week.
Yeah.
It was President's Day weekend, so we made a lot of plans
Yeah.
and we ended up hosting a pizza party with all the girls and the significant others. 12 people. He was there as well. And we had a great time. The night before, we also hosted with Tim and Patty. And then the day after, we went to
OC.
OC. So it was, I think I underestimated my body.
Yeah.
And like today, I didn't have work and I was planning to veg out and do
Yeah.
nothing. So last night I was so tired. I knocked out at 10:30. I was like trying to edit some stuff on my phone. I literally fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up at 7:30 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I just woke up and I was like, oh my God. I mean, I slept 8 hours still, but still
What's the problem?
8 hours, 8 full hours.
That sounds like a good night's sleep to me.
That's
like
good for you.
That's one thing that I desire for myself. At
Yeah.
least once this week. But anyways, continue. No, I feel you. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
You just
why?
wanted to sleep in past 7:30.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't complain for all the moms, but I was like struggling so much today. Like I felt like I got hit by a truck all weekend.
Why do you sound disappointed in yourself?
No, I am disappointed in myself because I used to be able to bounce back, no problem. But now it's like, wow, I need like 2 days to recuperate, I think. And that makes me sad, Jess. That really makes me sad.
It's funny that you think it's like not normal for you to feel that way, but I feel like it's the natural response for someone to feel exhausted and wanting to rest after like a full, like literally like every single day, a full weekend of just plans.
It's funny because David and I were like, okay, Janice, David, like, during the week, let's not make any plans. Weekdays, like, we really need to just like focus on our work and like go to sleep by 11, wake up by 7, go to the gym. Like, we cannot socialize during the week.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. And then comes the weekend, we like do back to back to back. I'm like, what is the point of not doing anything on the weekday if we're just going to like, jam pack our weekends? We might as well spread it out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think also because you guys live in the far away land of the valley, you guys have to consolidate some like dates and hangouts over the weekend. And like, like while you're in OC, like might as well visit your in-laws, might as well eat with OC people.
Yeah.
And then might as well sleep over at Jess's and do a honey jam recording,
Yeah. And so might as well like, host a party of 12 people.
I know. Yeah. Might as well host a party of 12 people. And then, next day you just happen to be serving in children's ministry. So
yeah,
it just, life just rolls like that sometimes. Like when you're busy, it's just insane.
You got to roll with the punches, as they say.
And then when you're not doing anything, you're like, you feel so unproductive and you're like,
yeah,
I should be doing something. I should be making plans. There's no middle for us. I feel like
it's too extreme.
That is the vice of our generation. Yeah. Like we need a good balance, but when we're not doing anything and when we're resting, we feel like we're being unproductive. And then when we're doing something, we're doing too much. And then we feel like exhausted and burnt out from it. So,
wow.
I don't know.
I mean, you are doing the mostest with a kid and then trying to balance socializing, and all of these things. What was that thing? A shout out to Cara. I saw a thing that she posted on her story.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, it was said like, as a parent, how are you supposed to juggle, like doing everything all at once.
Yeah.
You know, taking care of your kid, but also making sure you're like drinking water.
Yeah.
And you're sleeping, you know, at least 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
And like just taking care of your mental health. It's just so much.
You know, one thing that I have been doing ever since one of my favorite guests, Chie, came out on Honey Jam.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how she said like she always eats first before she feeds her children.
Isn't that crazy?
Because I never did that. Like I always fed Hui first. I always made sure his needs are met. And then like, you know, once the food is all like 식었어, once you know, the food is all, you know, cold and my appetite is gone and I'm just exhausted, then I would eat like little bits and pieces of my meal. But these days I've been trying to make it a point to eat first when the food is warm.
Wow.
When, you know, because either way, Hui's like gonna be like, "안 먹어," and then I have to like force him to eat and like, you know.
Yeah. Wait,
so
were
like,
you inspired by Chia?
I was very much inspired by Chie. I was like, you know what? I like that. I like because at the end of the day, it's like I need to take care of myself. I need energy. I need to be fed and happy so that I could take care of my kid well, you know?
That's true.
So I was like, that is like why did I like find the need to like always like be the one like last person like doing everything, you know? Like I'm gonna put myself for once in regards to food, okay? So like today too, yes, at least that. Like today we had like a little picnic outside in the neighborhood, and we got do you know Two Saucy Broads? It's like a pizza place.
No, I've never heard of it.
It's a really good pizza place that shout out Andrew and Joanne introduced us to, and they have this pizza called Pesto Palooza. It's really tasty. You should get it next time. We'll get it next time, Janice, when you guys are here.
Sounds fun.
But it was like it looks so like steamy and good, and like it's like, you know, it's like a huge piece. And
must be eaten on the spot.
Yes, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna eat it first.
Wow.
And I ate like 2 pieces. Once I was nice and full and fed, I was like, "We come here, eat your pasta now."
Now it's your turn.
And it was fine, you know? Like I had the energy to chase him down and feed him. And it was like a really nice picnic until it was ruined by
what happened, Jess?
Dun dun dun.
What happened? Spill the tea.
Okay. This is like literally like my 6th or 7th time telling this story. And I'm gonna heat it again telling the story. We had a lovely picnic day. It was lovely. Our toddlers were playing. We had pizza. We fed them, and they were happy. And then on our way home, we were going back, and then I saw a truck right in front of the handicap ramp. So we couldn't, like, we had wagons and strollers, but we couldn't go down the ramp. And I saw that from like, you know, from afar. And then I told my friend, I was like, hey, you can't go this way because it's blocked. And I wasn't even talking to the guy in the truck. And then my friend was like, what the? Like, tell them to move. Like, can we give them a citation? And she said that out loud.
Yeah.
And maybe he thought I said it, but I was like, oh, there's someone in the truck. I said that to her.
Yeah, you noticed someone in the...
No, but I already knew he was in the truck, but because she was saying it, I was like, oh, there's someone in the truck. Like, I was telling her, like, you know, there's someone there. So, like, he probably heard you say, like, they need a citation.
Yeah.
And then he, like, steps out and he, like, stares at me, like, really... aggressively in a nasty way, and he keeps staring at me. And honestly, we weren't even gonna address it. We were just gonna go around and just go, you know, on our way. But for some reason, he just like had to pick a bone with me, and he started staring at me. And of course, he's a white guy, and I'm just like, honestly, I was gonna ignore it, but he kept staring at me, so I was like, "Hey, you're blocking the ramp." And he was like,
"Matter of fact."
Yeah, I just said, hey, you're blocking the ramp, because he was staring at me.
Yeah.
And then he says in a really mocking tone, like, I see that. And like,
oh, hell no.
And he keeps staring at me. And then I was like, I stared at him back, and I was like,
wow.
I went like this, and I was like, yeah, so move it. And then he was like, he's like, I'm on my lunch break. Like, I was just finding, like, he was saying all these, like, stupid excuses. And then
You're not supposed to park there.
yeah, and Josh obviously, like, he saw the whole interaction, like how he was being rude to me and like just like picking a bone like out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then Josh was like, dude, you're in front of a handicap ramp. Move your car. You're not supposed to park here.
Yeah.
And then he was saying all these stupid crap, and he's like, you're being incredibly rude to us.
What?
And then Josh and him were going back and forth, back at it. And then he was like kind of coming out of his car. He's like,
Uh-huh.
What? He was like kind of being aggressive. And Josh was like, hey, stop being so violent. And like, it was in front of our kids. Like, we had
Oh
our
my
kids
gosh.
in the strollers, in the wagons.
Uh-huh.
He's like, violent, me. And then I took out my recording, and he like puts on his shades and goes like back to his car because he's like scared that I'm recording him.
Yeah.
And Josh is like, oh, is this your company? It was part of like a pool cleaning company. He was part of a pool cleaning company hired by the HOA. He's like, is this your company? Josh was like, is this your company? He's like, yeah, call them, tell them. He was acting so hard. And we're like, I was so confused. Like, and I didn't have time to like, butt in and like say my piece because Josh and him were going at it so hard.
Yeah.
But we always say this, like, after the fact, when something happens, we like think of all the things we could have said.
Yeah, I hate that.
And I just felt so frustrated. Yes.
Yeah.
Josh was like, I was really happy because I got to say everything I wanted to say. I was like, great, that's great for you. But Josh was super, like, we were both seething because just the audacity of that guy.
Yeah.
And like, just from the get-go, like, I could feel and sense that he was like belittling me just because I was like Asian or a woman,
Yeah.
He was just like, he was staring at me like so, like with such a nasty expression.
When it was 100% his fault.
When it was 100% his fault. And I wasn't even addressing him. And I wasn't even the one who said that he should get a citation. I literally just said, hey, there's someone in front of the ramp, so you can't go this way. That's all I said. And he was staring at me like this.
What the
And I was like, what, bro? Like, literally, like, what?
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
Yeah.
And I was like, you're blocking the way. And then that's like when our interaction started. But I was just like, I could have said so much more.
But you know what? I'm really proud of you, actually. The fact that you didn't back down, you're like, yeah, so move it.
Yeah.
I love that you said that.
Because, like, again, like what you said, he was 100%, it was his fault.
Yeah.
So, and then I was like, I was going to ignore you and just go my way. But you're picking a fight with me, so, like, bring it.
Yeah.
Move your car. Move your car, bro. And, like, honestly, it could have gone so many other ways. He could have just said, oh, sorry, move his car. And we could have said, it's okay, thank you. And then it could have been such a friendly, civil interaction. Or this could have been annoying, but he could have just ignored us.
Yeah.
He could have just stayed in his car, pretend like he didn't hear us, and then just, go about his day. And then we could have just, went around him. But
I love that you whipped out your phone, though, to also, like, record him.
Yeah. That's what I do. I was telling Janice about this through text, and I sent her the video of that man and Josh, like, going back and forth, yelling at each other. And Janice was like, how did you think of, like, recording Jess in that moment? Because, like, for me, I'd be so, like, angry and, like, flustered. And I'm like, whenever a white man is mean to me, I bust out my phone. Because you never know what they're going to say. They can say any racist remark, or they can come at you aggressive. They could be dangerous. So I always have my phone out just in case,
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't want to assume, but I feel like his stance, he was ready to say a racist remark or something, This Asian lady coming at me, yelling at me.
He was just, it was
that pisses me off.
Annoying. I was so pissed. Just like his entitlement, like, I wanted a shaded area, and it literally says no parking. Yeah. And it's like, it's crossed off his space that he was parked at, and it was right in front of the ramp. So we couldn't go down.
Was he scared?
He was just like, I don't think he really knew what was going on. But just the fact that he was like ready to pick a bone with us, even with the kids around and with like a pregnant lady, it just tells you how
loserish he is.
Yes, how much of a jerk and a dickhead he is. So
I saw the video. He looks like he's a, ripe 22-year-old, 23-year-old.
Really?
He looks like one of those 23-year-olds that look 40 years old.
Oh, did he look young?
He seemed younger than us, I think.
Oh, really?
I think so. How can you, or maybe, I don't know, just that short video. And he was also wearing sunglasses, so I don't know. Maybe I couldn't tell.
So I sent a really heated complaint email to Trends.
You're so good at writing those.
At the end, I was like, I look forward to how you'll be addressing this issue. Promptly. But they didn't reply to me, so I'm like...
Oh, they didn't?
Yeah, so Josh was like, just tell Joanne, our HOA president, because we're their clients, So whatever, man. But
those kind of situations really piss me off because, like you said, it's like after you're like, I wish I said this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And like in the moment, I don't even have the, right mind to pull out my phone, like, because just so much happens in such little time. That kind of reminds me of when I was in Mexico and I was there with my family and this fat white guy, another white guy. He goes,
of course.
Oh, are you Japanese? Konnichiwa, or something like that. And I was like, so, because I've actually rarely encountered like racist encounters like that.
Yeah.
And so I was just shocked. And the only comeback I could think of was, there are other Asians in this world.
Ooh.
And his wife next to him, she's like, just ignore him.
Yeah.
And I was like, just huffing and puffing by myself.
Said that?
Yeah. Because he was like drunk.
That's
embarrassing. I was like, there are other Asians in this world.
Yeah.
And then like no one else heard him say that to me. So I was just so mad by myself. And David was like, are you okay? And I was like, you know what he said? I was so upset.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that happened to you, Jess.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was like, I'm not going to let this white man behavior ruin my day. But it low-key kind of did.
Not to say all white men are like that.
Yes.
But,
and especially because we will have a white man as a guest soon.
That's why I said that. That's why I mentioned that. We love our white men. Yes.
It can be anybody.
It can. It can be a Korean man.
It can also be a Korean man too.
In fact, a lot of Korean men are crazy.
Yes, crazy and sometimes racist. But it's just I'm extra on high alert when I feel like I'm being like, it's because there was also another incident also by a white man, but again, not all white men are like, it's just we have a lot of incidents where we just experience this, so we're just on like defense mode more, Are you gonna
talk about that moment in the car?
What car?
Never mind, go on.
Oh,
you've had many incidents.
You know what's so funny? It is related to that. I wasn't going to bring that up.
Okay.
But I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I feel
it's pretty shocking, but it's fine.
It's very shocking and it's very disgusting. But as women, I just feel like this is what we go through. It's like literally, a very common occurrence, and it just sucks,
Yeah.
But this is like, I was on my way from work, but I got into an accident. So I bumped into a car and I was very frazzled, and I was on my way home from that accident. So I was like, I had a lot of like thoughts. I'm like, what am I gonna do? What do I have to do next? And I was like, I hope my car is okay. And I was just driving home, and this guy honks at me. I'm like stopped at a red light, and he's on the left lane, like the lane where it's making a left turn. And he honks at me, and then I look over to my left side, and he's smiling at me. He's this white guy, and he looks very normal. In fact, he looks almost like handsome, like he looks like just like a very like handsome white man. And then he smiles at me, so I'm just like smiling back. And he's like, and then I thought I thought he was saying something was wrong with my car because this was
Yeah.
right after my accident. And I was like, oh, I was like, yes. And I was like smiling, kind of like, oh, what's wrong? And then he keeps smiling at me, and I wasn't getting what he was trying to say to me. So he
Wait.
has one wheel on, one hand on the wheel, and the other hand is he's basically jacking himself off, and
Oh God.
he's pointing to his,
His
that
penis.
area
Yeah.
with like his eyes. He's like
Yeah. Like look down
signaling,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
look down here, come on. And then I look and I like, see it, and I feel very violated. I'm like, dude, what the frick? And then I whip my
At the red
at
light.
the red light, I whip out my camera again to get his, like, try to get his license plate, but he zooms off. He runs the red, and he
Oh my
goes. So I
gosh.
couldn't even like get the footage. And then it's just, imagine me, like, I just got into an accident. This guy just like violates me
Yeah.
by jacking himself off. And I'm just like, what the heck is happening?
All in one day,
All
in
in
like
one
a couple
day,
of hours.
which leads to this story. I go home. I tell Josh what happens. He's like, dude, you got to report it to the police.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell the police. This white policeman comes to our
Enough.
house, and he's like that, like, just, um it just when you think of a white policeman, like, that's him. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
He has
Uh-huh.
that image, and he's just like asking me about the occurrence, and I'm trying my best to be like detailed as possible. And he literally says, like, how come you weren't more aware of your surroundings? And then I'm like, excuse me? He's like, like, this is basically, he was saying, like, this is what women do. Like, they don't really know, like, what's going around them. So, like,
What?
I'm like, how the heck was I supposed to know that this
Yeah.
guy was masturbating next to me? And then also, like, on top of that, I was like coming back from an accident. So, like, I was like thinking about a lot of things,
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I was just like appalled at like what he said. And Josh too, he's like, what? And obviously we don't want to like cross the police officer, but
Yeah.
we're like very like
Offended.
offended and like confused. Like, did he
Yeah.
really just say that?
So
And
how
then
did you respond?
I was just confused. I was like, he was asking me, he was like insinuating, like, how come you weren't looking
Oh
around
my
you?
gosh.
I'm like, I was looking at the light,
Yeah.
I was looking at the light, and I was like trying to be aware, but I just came back from an accident. I was just confused. I didn't know how to answer his question. Like, are you
Yeah.
blaming me, kind of thing?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then he was like trying to like joke around with Josh, like, like, women, like, this is how they are. And
Oh
Josh
my
was like,
gosh.
Josh didn't laugh back, and he was like, and then like he thought, like, it wasn't received well, but he's like, okay, well, okay, I'll like whatever, like, report this or
That's
whatever. And then,
crazy. I didn't know that, Jess.
yeah, and then he just left. And then I was like, okay, so in one day I got into a car accident, a guy just masturbated next to me, and a white police officer was being a sexist to me.
A sexist to you.
Yeah, so that was wild.
What a crazy day.
Yeah, I mean, that was like way before. That was when I was pregnant with Wee.
You were pregnant at the time?
I was pregnant at the time too.
I
Yeah.
cannot believe that happened to you. I
I
still
know.
can't believe that happened to you.
There are just so many things that you just cannot trust this world. But anyway, sorry guys about sorry to start off this
My
episode
gosh.
with such I don't know, such bad news. But that's what women go through, okay, guys?
Yeah. Just to give you an idea.
Just to give you
to
an
our
idea.
few men listeners.
Yes. I love that, in the Danielle's the salad reel,
Mm-hmm.
someone commented saying, well, that's just the life of a woman, like a day in the life of a woman, like trying to lose weight, eating a salad, and then getting slapped by a homeless man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, men will not, they won't understand. It's like
Yeah.
even walking out alone,
Yeah.
in the dark, it's scary for women.
Yes.
But for men, it's just normal.
Yeah.
But
which reminds me of that question, Janice.
Mhm.
Remember we talked about it on Instagram? What was it?
The
Oh, the
question
haunted mansion.
the question of the week that we were talking about,
Yeah.
random,
Yeah.
but it was, would you spend a week in a haunted mansion for $1 million?
Yeah.
I said hell no, and Jess surprisingly said yes. I was surprised because Jess, you're a bigger scaredy cat than I am. I don't know if it's like the mommy instincts now, like you
Yeah.
don't give a crap
Yeah.
and you're much stronger.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's because of that, but I was very shocked by your answer.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll be scared maybe like the first day, but once I get used to it, it sounds like a vacation to me. No kids, full 8 hours of sleep, just like Janice, reading books here and
Dude,
there, you
8 hours
know,
of sleep in a haunted house? No way. I would like be
hanging with
up.
some ghosts that don't hurt me. Um,
You're thinking like Casper the ghost, but I'm thinking some crazy shiz.
yeah. Well, I mean, if there's a guarantee that you're not gonna get hurt and then you'll be fed and you'll sleep, I mean, if you're scared, obviously you won't sleep, but I feel like that'll like you'll get used to it, you know?
Yeah. I
I'm
was
kind of thinking of like Not Scary Farm, like like
uh-huh.
the first hour you're there, you're like so scared
Mm,
of all the monsters, but then after that hour, once you're used to seeing all the monsters, like or like the
yeah.
zombies and all the people in costumes,
Uh-huh.
you're like not scared anymore, you know?
See, I didn't even go to those though because I'm so scared of like
Oh,
haunted or like, jump scares or whatever. So
yeah,
I can't even imagine. I was talking to David about it. I was like, what would you do? He's like, for $1 million? Like, hell yeah. Well, at first he
yeah,
was like, are you safe? Like, you're
yeah,
not gonna die? I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
I guess not.
Uh-huh.
You're spending there just for a week. I mean, like a week is a long time.
Yeah.
And also it's
No
a week in
Wi-Fi.
the haunted house with no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hell no. What are you
Yeah.
supposed to do?
I feel like that will be the hardest part. More than even like seeing ghosts or whatever. It's just like the no Wi-Fi is
Uh,
truly the most
yeah.
horrific part of it.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I was saying to Janice, like, if you can have a book, you know, take a few
No,
books,
read the Bible every
read the
day.
Bible, then you'll feel
Oh my
extra
god.
safe and protected. Again, you'll be desensitized to all the horrors in the haunted mansion. Just a week, full sleep. Sign me up, baby. $1 million.
$1 million is a lot, but I don't think I could do a week. Especially these days, I don't know, scary things have been kind of haunting me a
Yeah.
little bit.
Wait, okay. After you talked about that dream, I
Hmm.
sent you that reel, right? Of that scene where is it Lily Depp? She's like
Uh-huh.
salivating and she's like
I
getting
didn't play it.
possessed.
I didn't
Oh,
play it
you
because I was too
didn't?
scared, yeah, of the thumbnail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, you're more of a scaredy cat than me then.
I know. I can't watch horror. I guess I get too freaked out. And like being in this house alone,
Yeah.
it's scary.
Your
Anytime
house is
there's
big
like,
though.
yeah, it's really windy in the valley, and so like in random places in the house there will be noises,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, David, can you go check?
Yeah.
Can you go check? He's like, there's nothing out there. And I'm like, ugh.
Okay, also your house is very much protected and gated. It took us 30 minutes to get into Janice's house.
During
Worse
President's
than the
Day.
Disneyland line. But you're a gated community and it's fine. But
Yeah,
anyways, yeah, that Lily Depp clip is of her like salivating and like getting possessed and the
that's
guy's like,
from the clip from Nosferatu.
"Yeah, yeah, yeah."
Oh, okay, you knew.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh, the vampire movie.
Yeah, cuz you talked about it in our
Yeah,
previous
yeah.
episode.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
You said you were talking about it with Sarah and then you had the dream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then when I saw that clip, I was like, oh, I wonder if this is what Janice, the movie that Janice was talking
Uh-huh.
about. And then I saw in the
Uh,
comments and they were talking about Lily Depp. So I was
uh-huh.
like, oh, I think it is. And that's why I forwarded it to you. And I watched it and it was kind of comedic.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was scary. And she was
Mhm.
like, it was really scary because it looked real. Like she looked like she was getting possessed and stuff.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
then the guy's like, oh, I'll get the priest. And then he goes. And she's
Oh,
like,
I see, I see.
yeah.
It's like comedic relief.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was kind of funny. I was like, oh, she is pretty good. That's all I thought.
If I watch that, I'm definitely gonna have another nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had nightmares in a while.
Have you had a good straight 8 hours of sleep?
I haven't had that in over 2 years. Yeah,
Again,
never.
which is so crazy because you are someone who used to literally sleep 10 hours before we.
Yeah, yeah. I used to, like, when Janice was studying for her finals, and like everyone else, my apartment mates, they'd be like studying hard for their finals. They'd be like staying up late. I would go to bed at like 10, 11 p.m.,
Yeah.
get my full 8 to 9 hours of sleep.
You had a hard stop. You're like, okay, I'm gonna finish this paper.
Yeah.
But actually, I think you were really good at like, you weren't a procrastinator. I think you always, because as an English major, you had reports or like essays
Yes.
to write, and
Yeah.
like you knew the deadline, and as long as you hit that deadline, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember you would always be like, okay, I have to finish this essay, and I'm gonna knock out, and you
Yeah.
always finished your papers at like a reasonable time.
I
Whereas
did.
for
Yeah.
me, like I'm studying for a test the next morning.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like you were really good at that.
That's true. Because for me, like, there was an end to my like final. I just
Yeah.
would write a 12-page essay, and
Uh-huh.
like even though it's excruciating writing it, there's still like once I hit that 12-page word count, whatever,
Yeah.
I just submit it, turnitin.com. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laptop closed. I'm going to sleep, guys.
Yes.
Peace out.
But for you guys, I feel like studying is like it's endless. Like
Yeah.
you study something and you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
feel like I need to study it more, and it's
You can
like it's
never
hard.
study too much.
Exactly. Yeah. One of my best
Dang.
memories is me studying with Kiju, again, our
Mhm.
previous guest, for African art history. I think we talked about it. But we literally stayed up until like 4 or 5 a.m., thought of like the most ridiculous ways to memorize like the art history, like pieces and like the
Yeah.
history behind it.
Yeah.
It was like the most fun I've had ever
Aw, yeah.
studying.
I
Yeah.
remember it was so ridiculous, but it stuck.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me when we were in Germany too. We were learning German words
Yes.
for the first time.
Yeah.
And like in German words, there are feminine and masculine words, right?
Aha.
And one, I don't remember what the word was, but
Stockos or something like that.
something like that. It was like a plug, like
Steckdos. Steckdos.
was it Steckdos? Isn't Steckdos glasses or pen?
I thought it was Steckdos.
But the way I remembered what's it called?
Power outlet. Steckdos.
Oh, power outlet. Oh,
Yeah. How did I remember that? See, it's like just core memory.
I remember a Steckdo, like the power outlet.
Yeah.
I remembered it being, is it male, masculine?
I think it's feminine. Feminine.
The power outlet's feminine, and
Yes.
then the thing that
The
goes
plug.
in is
Plug.
the plug is masculine.
Yes.
Because I remember like, oh, that's how like, the bodies work.
Yeah. Exactly. And we're like, makes sense. And we never forgot it. Even
Wow,
the word Steckdos.
I forgot.
You
Yeah,
you always had your set of German words that you never forget, and you always said like romantisch, sfew, halgi, and grunte. Okay, I said romantic,
And green tea.
psychology.
Oh, yes,
Guys, psychology in German is sfew, halgi.
Wow, I didn't remember that, Jess.
Oh, really? Sfew, halgi.
Psychology.
Sfew, halgi, and grunte. Janice always asks for grunte or a shun. No, not shun. What was black tea?
I don't
It
remember.
was something like something tea, but anyways, Janice always like asked for grunte.
I only remember ich bin 22 Jahre alt. It literally means I am 22 years old, and like literally that's how old that's what I learned. We were 22 or whatever years old at the time. We
10
were
years
22.
ago?
We were 22.
We were younger than that. I think we were like 21 or 20.
Oh.
20.
What's 22? Is it? Yeah, 22. That's 22.
22.
Yeah, 22. But I don't know why that's in my memory. I don't even know how
Yeah.
to say I'm 30 years old.
Yeah,
32
I
years
forgot.
old.
Dry? I don't know. But anyways, one thing that I really enjoyed this past weekend was really going over to Janice's house.
Did you have fun? Did you?
I had a blast. I mean, it was quite a journey. It took us like an hour and a half to get there. But then the whole time I was just thinking like, I can't believe Janice and David do this like at least like once a week, and just like, they do it joyfully, and like they never complain. But Josh and I were like dying because it was like such a far
Yeah.
ride. And
Mm-hmm.
like on top
To
of
our
that, it's like,
house.
yeah, to your house. And like, it's just like, it's not just like there, but it's like you have to go there and then the ride back home, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, you guys are just so far away. So, but I feel like you never complain, Janice. Like, you just come always willingly to OC. And
Yeah. I mean,
like, a part of that is because, like, you know a lot of people
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
in LA and OC, but we
But it's
had a
funny
lot of
because
fun. Yeah.
yeah, it's funny because this year David's like, I'm making it a goal this year to go to OC less. Because
Because it's,
we're at the end of last year, we were going there every single weekend,
yeah,
and it
dude.
was pretty tiring. But
It's
after
tiring.
yeah, after you guys left, we were
Yeah.
like, cleaning up and just
Yeah.
thinking about, how good of a day it was. How
Oh,
David made pizza for everybody. Hui was there. Everyone was playing with
yeah.
Hui. Um, but David was like, so did Josh and Jess have a good time? Because they they drove a long time to get here, but then he
Yeah.
was had to leave obviously because to match like Hui's dinner
Yeah.
schedule and stuff.
Yeah.
But I felt bad because you guys you know didn't get to I feel like fully enjoy.
No, dude, we had such a good time. Like, we went, and like, for our listeners, David, he handmade his gourmet pizzas for
Hmm.
us, and they were bomb. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. And he also allowed Hui to like touch the dough and like make it
Yeah.
with him. I touched the dough. It was so soft. So
Yeah.
soft, and that's how it tastes like. It tastes like a cloud, the dough. So
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like, I just felt the love and the care
Mm.
that David put
Mhm.
into the pizzas,
Mhm.
and it was delicious.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious. And we were just grateful that, you guys hosted and fed us well. Obviously, like, with Hui there, like, our energy is like, watching him. And but I had
Yeah.
moments where, I joined in on monikers, the
Yeah.
board game. And I got to bomb my charade skills
Yeah.
by acting it out, and the ladies won. Josh, however, he had some back problems, and he was just kind of resting in the guest
Mhm.
bedroom.
No, it was
um
funny because Jess was like, "Okay, we're gonna try to nap Hui," and so Josh and Jess take Hui to the room, and then like 20 minutes later, Jess and Hui walk out of the room, and Hui is like alive, like running around playing,
he did
and
a
we're like,
nap.
"Where's Josh?" And Josh is like laying in the bed, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "You know what? Let's let him rest.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
had a
I
long
thought
drive."
I thought he was sleeping, but then I went back in, and he was just kind of like resting his back because
Mhm.
it was hurting. And then, like, out of like, as a joke, I told, shout out Harris,
Shout
our
out.
physical therapist friend, who is
Mhm.
quite a famous influencer as a physical therapist, as a
Mm.
PT. um I just kind of like said in passing, like, Harris, like, can you consult
Treat him.
Josh? Can you treat him? I kind of said it in passing, and also like as a joke. And then Harris joked back, and he's like, "Oh, it's my off day. Like, I just kind of want to relax." I was like, "No, I get it. I get
Oh.
it." And honestly, like, I didn't think much of it.
Yeah.
But like, a few minutes later, like, Harris quietly goes into the guest bedroom, and then I see him, and he's literally like treating Josh. He's
Mm.
massaging him. He's telling him like when he needs to work on. Obviously, it's like, you need to work out and, get in shape and all
Mhm.
of that. But he was there for like an hour massaging
Yeah.
Josh. And Josh is sore to this day. He said the areas that Harris was like massaging, it's like sore,
Are you
because Harris
serious?
was like literally like, 엄청
And
힘들게 putting his
he's an
heart and soul into
expensive.
it.
Yeah, Harris is a West LA PT. His
Yes.
fees are very high, so we're all saying, "Dude, Josh, you got a full hour, treatment
PT
by
session.
yeah,
Yeah. So shout out Harris. We're so thankful. And we're I feel like we really saw the benefits of
mm,
PT. We're
mhm,
getting
mhm,
older, and it
yeah,
was kind of like my first time seeing, like, oh, this is what PT is.
mhm, mhm,
They help you. Yeah.
yeah. I also thought it was really interesting because we hadn't like gathered like that, with
Yeah.
all of the SOs all
Yes.
together,
Yeah.
and like he there too. And so it was such a fun weekend.
Yeah.
But I also saw like, now that Hui's like running around, he's
Mm-hmm.
like full on toddler.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. It was like a very bittersweet moment,
Mhm. Mhm.
kind of seeing like how you and Josh are like full
Yeah.
blown parents now, and then like
Yeah.
you have your other friends who are also your main, what do you call it, like
Mhm.
mom friends,
Yeah.
other mom friends, aunties and stuff like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
But then like us, we're like we all don't have kids, so it's
Yeah.
such a stark difference, the way
Yeah.
you socialize with like us versus like all the friends in the community with kids.
Yeah. I think like in the beginning it was kind of hard for me
Mm-hmm.
because I was the only one with a kid.
Right. Yeah.
And like there were many days like I felt FOMO, and I was just like, oh man, like I wish I
Mm-hmm.
can do this with them, and I wish I can attend this and that. And it was really hard adjusting to that transition and that
Yeah.
stark difference, that you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned. And I feel um like if it was me before, like in the earlier days of
Mm-hmm.
like raising Hui, I felt like I would have felt sad,
Yeah, for
that
sure.
day, because yeah, like David said, like we just kind of went and we were like taking care of Hui while everyone was
Yeah.
like socializing. We
Yeah.
would step in and out, and we couldn't like fully
Mm-mm.
be present with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm at a point where it's like I'm so deep into
Right.
parenthood, and like
Yeah.
I know, like you know like I've already experienced all those feelings and kind of like had that
Mm-hmm.
process to grieve
Mm-hmm.
that part of my life is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So like on that day I was like, of course I'm like, oh, I wish I was with them and I wish I could do these things. But
Mm-hmm.
there are also gonna be like nights when Josh can watch Hui and I can join them, and I
Yeah.
can connect them at my own time and pace. So like
Yeah.
I was just like, I was thankful that Hui got loved on by all his
Yeah.
emos, and that we got to see you guys, we got to see Spake's boyfriend and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like I don't take it as like as personally as I did
Yeah,
before.
for
Yeah.
sure. And I think I saw that transition happen too.
Yeah.
Where you before we like you were trying to figure out where you fit, and
Yes.
then once you became like the first mom of all of us, like
Yeah.
you were trying to you didn't have many other mom friends around, but
Yeah.
now I see that you have your community,
Yeah.
and even this weekend when I saw you and like Josh, like trying to just keep Hui entertained, but at the
Yeah.
same time, coming in and out with the group and stuff like that. It was like, I don't know, it was like a very new feeling. I could see that
Yeah.
you've accepted that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As part of your life. And like I could see that you don't feel like FOMO
Yeah. Like as
or
sad as
anything.
I did before.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm like very glad that like, you have your circle of mom friends.
Yeah.
And like, you're becoming a mom of two.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It was like a weird feeling though, because
Yeah.
I was like happy that like this is who you are now. But
Mm.
then at the same time, I felt like, yeah, 뭔가 like,
Uh.
yeah.
Oh, 뭔지 알 것 같아. Like,
It was like bittersweet.
yeah. Like you thought you would be like in the same life stage as me, like kind of like,
Exactly. Yeah. And I
yeah.
felt like, oh, this is like a different life stage for
Yeah.
me and Jess. And
Yeah.
like, but at the same time, I'm so happy for
Of
you.
course. Yeah.
But it's just like kind of like that reality of like,
Uh,
oh, we are in different life stages, and that's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But I think I just felt like it's like 그냥 묘한 feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Janice.
Yeah, I wanted to save this to talk to you about this in person
uh-huh.
on Friday.
Yeah.
근데 자연스럽게 나오게
근데
됐네.
나도 그걸 느꼈어, like, but I was glad that I was the only one that was like that, like I'd rather I feel like I was always like the one in our friend group kind of pioneering, like, guys, I'm gonna get married first. I'm gonna have a baby first. And like I always felt those feelings first, where I'm like, I'm in a different life stage, like I'm going through these transitions and grieving and all of that. But even this time around, I'm like, I've had all those feelings, and I'm glad that I'm the one, going through it, so that I can kind of pave the way for you guys. And
I think it was like that actually, like seeing you in that moment. I was like, oh yes, she's finally like thriving. I mean, obviously it's tiring, but like I could see that like you like love this kind of like role, being, you know, his mom, and like accepting that, and like not being so caught up in like, oh, I want to like be with friends too, and like I want to, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like sad that I can't also be in that same life stage with you.
I get it. Yeah. But I feel like, you know, Jane, who just had her baby too, she was just telling me like, Jess, I didn't know.
About what?
Like how, like, I'm so sorry that I didn't reach out to you more when, like, you know, you were postpartum and all. I'm like
how lonely it could be.
Yeah. And then I was like, Jane, it's totally okay. I get it, you know? And she's like, you know, you reached out to me, and like, you know already like how hard it was. So she's like, I'm so thankful that, you know, you do that for me. But she's like, I feel bad because like I think about how lonely you must have felt like postpartum,
especially when you were all alone and none of us had kids or anything. Like
I mean, but there, like, I don't blame you guys, because there's no way of knowing. Same for me. Before I had a baby, like when my sister went postpartum, I'd be like, like, why is she acting crazy? And like, you know, you just have no way of knowing. So it's hard to relate. And I feel like that's where like I do feel that's where I had that like period of like, oh my gosh, like I'm just so far into this stage where no one really truly can understand unless they have done it as well. But for me, I'm just like, now I'm like I appreciate you guys and our friendships and, you know, our history. And, you know, someday I know you guys are going to go through, and I'll be there for you guys. Like, I'm glad that I can be there understanding and, you know, knowing what you guys are going through. So like, in that sense, I'm like, oh, like, I'm glad that they have me to comfort them. And like, I made it a point, like, for Jane too, like, you know, to always reach out to her and like check in with her, because I know how hard and lonely it can be. And I'm sure she's going still through that process, you know? So yeah, it's like, it's so funny because I talked about this. I was like, this is something that I always shared with like parents. And I remember like during church staff meeting, I was like, oh, I've been feeling kind of lonely and FOMO because I can't join. I think it was like when you guys went to like camping, or like, I forgot what it was. Like you guys went hiking, and then also like backpacking, snowboarding, like those trips where I couldn't really go because I was like, you know, with Kui. And I was sharing with like my church staff that like I felt lonely and FOMO. And then they're like, yes, this is like the rite of passage as a parent with a group of friends who have no kids, like as a young parent. And then they were like, once you have your second one, those feelings will be completely gone, because you don't even have the like yoyu. You don't have that I don't know, bandwidth to even think like, oh, I wish I could be there. You know what I mean? Because it's,
like, it's not realistic.
It's too impossible. It's just a far off dream. And you know,
right.
And like, not that I'm to that point, because, you know, obviously Arin isn't out yet, but I feel like why
did you release the name already?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay, sorry.
I've come to that point where I'm like, like I'm very much deep into my parenthood, and, you know, I appreciate my friends, and I'm so happy for them.
But you know, I hope and pray that no matter how different our life stages may be, you know, our friendship will never change.
Of course,
I mean,
Janice.
Obviously, you know, it's hard. Life is hard, and like changes will happen. But our friendship will never change.
That's right. That is right.
Yeah.
Even when we're in the same life stage, even among parents who are in like within the same life stage, there are so many different things. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure,
raising your child is so different. How you raise your child with your spouse is different. And it's like, of course, yes, you can relate as a parent. And there are things like as a parent that, yes, you understand on a deeper level, but everyone's journey is so different, you know? So that's just how I like to think of it. You know, we're on two different journeys, but we're walking together and we're supporting each other. So
that's right. I don't know. I was just feeling a little sentimental. you know?
I know exactly how you feel, Janice. You don't have to explain.
Like
뭔지
music
알아.
in the background while you're playing with Hui.
Okay, but honestly, I wasn't playing with Hui. I was just laying on the beanbag and you were playing with Hui. I was just like, sorry, Janice. Sorry. And you were playing. But then you know what I posted? You playing, and it was like beautiful music, and it was like from afar, and you're like, 언제 찍었어? When did you take this? That's when I
didn't know.
I felt sentimental during that time. That's when I felt what you were feeling. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Because Hui's growing so fast. I think like seeing how fast Hui is growing, how quickly he's growing, it's just like, it makes me feel like, okay, like time is going by really quickly.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, you know, he's still young. And
yes.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I'll be here for you in any stage of life.
Thanks, Jess. I didn't think I would cry today.
I know.
But here we are. 52 minutes in.
Wait, what segment do we have now?
I don't even know. Well, we were supposed to do a new segment. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. But we have some exciting guests coming your way.
We do.
So please look out for that. And then I'll be in Korea with some other guests, I guess. I'll try to poach out some new guests. Yeah.
Yeah.
But until then.
When are you going again, Janice?
March 23rd.
March 23rd, dude.
Yeah. Soon. But until then, friends, please stay safe. Don't get yelled at by white men. And
check out Janice's IVF reels and story. Because they have been for you.
It's on my Instagram. I released the first video.
Yes.
I was a little nervous, actually.
Did you cry seeing all the comments, Janice? Because I sure did.
I did. I was like, you know, this is just like a basic video, intro. It's totally chill. It's totally cool. But I was like writing the caption. I was like, oh, I'm kind of nervous to like post this. It's such a vulnerable thing. I realized.
It is.
For me, I'm always like, oh, I'm so open. You know, I already talked about IVF on Honey Jam. Everyone knows. But like something about posting on Instagram makes it feel so official. Yeah. Like I posted on TikTok right away, like no problem. But Instagram, I was just kind of like, I kind of paused.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, here we go. Yeah. Like rewrote the caption like 3 times, posted it. And then I was like, it's totally chill. What's done is done. It's out there in the world. People know. Yeah. And then random people started like messaging me and like commenting. And everyone was so supportive. And then that's when like I started to cry.
I was so touched by the village behind you, everyone supporting and rooting for you guys. Yeah. And it just makes me excited for, you know, the next steps that you guys, what's to come. Whatever it is. Yeah. Whatever it is. Yeah.
We'll see. But thank you. Thank you for that. And check us out on Honey Jam Pod on Instagram. And we will see you next time.
Bye everyone.
Bye.